Hello and welcome to day 8. Today we have workout 2C, meaning we will be 75% through the circuit rotation of the workouts we're going to be doing. So get ready to get in the gym. Make sure you check the app, the spreadsheet, the doc, whichever way you prefer to track your workouts, and make sure that you know what exercises you're going to be doing so you can mentally prepare yourself for that and make any adjustments that are necessary. Now, today being a workout day, we are going to dive a little bit deeper into an exercise, and we have covered chest, we have covered back, we have covered shoulders. So now we are going to move down into the arms, and today we're going to be focusing on the back of the arms, the tricep muscles, those 3 muscle heads that make up 2/3 of the upper arm mass. So without further ado, let's jump into the exercise and break it down for you. Check it out. All right, so today's exercise for triceps, we are going to focus on the pull-over press. Now, this is an old school staple for building up triceps mass, and both myself and a lot of my clients have found great success with incorporating this exercise in a correlation to triceps growth. I actually prefer this exercise to skull crushers because 1, not only do I get a better stretch with this exercise, but 2, I feel it much less in my elbows. Going heavy on skull crushers tends to give me a tendonitis feel in my elbows after a little while this exercise alleviates the pressure there while keeping tension on my triceps. So let's break it down. The pullover press, just like its name implies, starts with a pullover movement where you're taking the bar down to your chest and stretching over behind your head until you get a full stretch on the triceps. Then you're going to pull the bar back over your chest and you're going to press up in a close grip bench press movement. Then bring the bar back down to the chest and repeat. Simple as that. As far as grip goes, you're going to grip just about shoulder width or slightly inside shoulder width. You don't want to go too narrow as this can place strain on the wrists and the shoulders, and you definitely don't want to go wider than shoulder width as this can start to call in the chest and the delts more than you want. Once you're in position with a comfortable grip, you're going to control the bar down to your chest and then slowly stretch back into the full pullover position. Keep your rib cage elevated and your body anchored on the bench the entire time so you're not wobbling around and risking taking tension and focus off of the targeted muscle. When you're coming back up into the movement, you want it to be a smooth transition to the chest and then press, focusing on the triceps and focusing on keeping the elbows in tight to the body so that you're not bringing the chest into play. Once you get up to the top of the movement, you're going to stop just shy of lockout. So again, we're keeping the elbows in a safe position before returning back down to the chest and repeating. Another thing to focus on with this exercise is even if you get very strong at it, you'll notice I'm using smaller plates for this warm-up set. I can build up to the point where I'm able to use 45s on each side, but since that is a bigger weight plate, the bar tends to hit the floor before I get a full stretch on the triceps. It's better to use 25 or even better to use several 10s stacked up so you can really focus on getting that full range of motion without the floor interfering with this. With the actual pressing movement, it's important to focus on the triceps the entire time and not let fatigue allow your chest and shoulders to come in and take over. Once you feel your triceps giving out, that's it. Set's complete, you have reached failure. A lot of times I'll get to the point where I can't do any more pullovers with good form, but I still have a little bit of energy left in my triceps. This is where I do a couple extra close grip presses to finish off this set, as I'll show here in just a second. Once I can't do any more pullovers, you'll just bang out a few extra close grip bench presses. Another helpful tip with this is with bar setup, it is very helpful to have a spotter to hand you the bar to get you in proper position. So as always, I hope you found that video informational and helpful. But if you do have any further questions on the exercise, leave a comment down below and I will be happy to get to that and answer your question. So now that we've covered that specific exercise, let's dive a little bit more into detail in tricep training in general so that you can get the absolute most tricep growth possible out of the next 6 weeks. We're going to focus on 3 key points in today's video covering the triceps. First, we're going to focus on angles. So the importance of angle training with the triceps. Because the triceps are a 3-headed muscle, hence the name triceps, meaning 3, you've got to work some different angles to make sure you're effectively stimulating each head of the muscle. This is why the exercises are chosen how they are in the 6-week blueprint to living art. You have the outer head, which is this part of the tricep right here. You have the middle head, and you have the long head or the inner head, which hangs on the inside. Now, all of these 3 heads of the tricep will be activated with tricep exercises, but different angles will affect and activate more load on certain parts. For example, tricep extensions, where you're coming across your body, are going to more effectively target the outer head, this part of the tricep. Any sort of skull crusher, dips, or stretching movement, such as the pullover press, I feel really working on the medial, the middle part of the tricep right there. And any sort of overhead extension is going to be targeting more of the longer head, that inside part of the tricep right here. This is why the 6-week blueprint to living art, the exercises are specifically picked out and designed to effectively stimulate all 3 heads of the tricep. And this is also why, if you need to make any exercise swaps or modifications in the trainer, I highly encourage you to pick exercises that are very similar to the exercises listed. For example, if you're going to swap out a tricep cable extension with the straight bar, you can use a tricep cable with a rope attachment, or a tricep cable with a V-bar attachment if you feel more comfortable. Any sort of cable tricep pushdown is going to work very similarly as far as warming the elbows up and stimulating the tricep in a similar way. Any sort of overhead extensions, for example, overhead cable extensions, you can swap out for different attachments. You can do overhead extensions with the easy bar, overhead extensions with the dumbbell, and so on. Again, you're just looking to make the exercises as similar as possible so that the design of the program is not compromised and you know you're effectively stimulating all angles and therefore all 3 heads of the tricep muscle and getting the absolute best development you can over the next 6 weeks. Now that we've touched on angles, let's cover point number 2, which is the importance of stabilization during any sort of tricep extension. This is a key mistake that I see a lot of people make, and that is where their shoulder comes into play and their elbow is actually moving around a lot during the exercise. Whether you're doing a skull crusher, a close grip bench press, a tricep extension with the cable, an overhead extension, it's important to keep your elbow locked in a similar plane, which is why the lats or the traps are going to come into play just to lock you in place and stabilize. With tricep press downs, for example, it's important, if I turn from the side here, that your elbow is not coming up and then swinging down and back like so. If this is happening, there's going to be more tension on the shoulders and on the lats than there are on the triceps. You want your tricep to be locked in place and come straight down, just like so. This again applies to overhead tricep extensions as well. If your elbow's moving all over the place, your shoulders are going to come into play and make it more of a shoulder press movement. Make sure you lock in position and keep the movement just at the elbow joint, bending at the elbows and extending at the elbows and focusing on that stretch on the back of the arm and that contraction on the triceps at the top. Lastly, let's touch on range of motion. Now this varies a little bit depending on what exercise you're doing, but the main thing is that you're keeping tension on the triceps. Just like any other exercise, if you take the range of motion out of the range of the triceps, you'll lose some of the tension on that muscle. For example, when I demonstrated bench press for chest, we went about 3/4 of the way up rather than locking fully out, as that is as far as I need to go to get a maximal contraction on my chest without bringing the triceps and shoulders into play. Same thing with triceps. If you're doing tricep press downs, you're going to bring your arms up just to about 90-degree bend at the elbows or slightly higher before extending back down. You don't want to come all the way up to the point where you're bouncing your forearms off of your biceps or are getting that swing with your elbows coming into play. Same thing could be for a close grip bench press, where you only come about 3/4 of the way down before driving up and locking out using the triceps. If your range of motion is really good and you're on your shoulders, you can go a little bit deeper. Just again, make sure you're able to focus on the triceps the entire time. Great example of this is the dips exercise, which can be used either for the chest or for the triceps. If I come down to about 90 degrees or just below and then go into a full lockout, I keep all the tension on my triceps, and that is where I dominantly feel the exercise. If I go all the way down into a deep stretch as far as I can go and only come about 2/3 of the way up, then I feel all the tension on my chest instead. It's the same exercise, but by changing the range of motion to locking out versus all the way down into a deep stretch is changing where I feel the tension most on the muscle. Now that you have this new information, make sure you apply it and try it today at the gym, since we do have arms and therefore triceps on the menu. Let me know how it goes, or let me know if you have any further questions down in the comment section below. And I can't wait to see you for tomorrow's video. We have a grow day, a recovery day. So smash it at the gym today and rest and recover tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you then.